a lot of the work that has been done has really been to show up confidence, but more importantly, to address some of the challenges that led to the situation where people lost monies. What beyond the things you've told us would give me, an average citizen of the land, further conviction that I can go out to invest? Does it mean that the people or the businesses that are around today will be here tomorrow?
Well, I think part of the issue is really understanding the investment landscape.
Okay.
And knowing what the fund manager is doing. Without knowing that, you're not assured of what is going on, and you are relying on assumptions. Now, assumptions are good, but it's also good to understand the basis for those assumptions and the implications if those assumptions don't come to pass. So, for instance, if they are holding a portfolio based on certain products, what are those products, and do you know what they are? And what has been the track record of those products? So part of what we have done really is to ensure that those that remain are given adequate disclosure. And in our view, we cannot give you 100% guarantee. What we can say is that if you have adequate information, then you are informed and you know the risks that you take as an investor.
Okay.
And that is the way forward. Everybody needs to know there are different products. And believe me, even up to now, people are still going for some of the investment scams and the Ponzi schemes in the market. So with all that is happening, you find people still want higher returns. People still want a guarantee that I'm going to get X. That is a challenge for fund managers. And that is something that we've looked at. And we think that educating and disclosing the nature of a portfolio, disclosing the kinds of historical returns. Historical gives people a sense of what you've done in the past and your track record. It does not guarantee the future. And the future is unknown. The future has certain risks, but it allows that if the portfolio is this nature, then going forward, this is the direction, or this is the potential trajectory. And you can tell within a reasonable range what the outcomes can be. And that is the assurance that we give to people, that now when you go to the fund managers, ask questions, ask for disclosure, determine your risk appetite. Do you have low risk appetite? You don't want any losses. And fund managers can actually help you to buy treasury bills. Some of them have mutual funds that invest in T-bills and bonds. And for the mutual fund, you can go in and out any day you want. The challenge people often have is that with a fixed deposit, it's for a fixed period of time. So if you break it before that, you suffer a penalty. With a mutual fund, you can come in and out. You have to give adequate notice, but you can come in and out, and you know what it is, the holdings are. So that is an intervention that we think will help to strengthen the market and improve investor confidence.
Okay. I was going to bring in El Klimi, but there's another question which I believe has to, it's quite long. This is someone telling us their own experience. Says, I had about 535,000 CDs under management with Gold Coast Capital Management. And we all know what had happened to Gold Coast after the cleanup. They also boasted of prudent management and still went under and destroyed people like myself's portfolio. I'm currently being told that only 438,000 CDs can be validated, even though the SEC has mandated that validation be done to the point of the revocation of the license of the fund management company. The liquidator is telling me that the Gold Coast Financial Management ceased operating my portfolio when they received instruction from the SEC following to offering, okay, now this is technical. What's an SF product?
Structured finance.
Okay, so a structured finance product and all of these. My question is, how does this boost consumer confidence if someone like me have lost over 250,000 through the mismanagement of my portfolio?
Well, I think this also ties into the disclosure. So what was the structured finance product?
Right.
Someone tells something is structured finance. What does it mean? What have they invested in? What are the underlying assets? And I don't want to comment too much on the Gold Coast issue because we are in court with them as we speak.
Okay.
But the reality is that the portfolio was not performing. We had some of the largest complaints on Gold Coast from 2018. And if you look at the underlying assets, it was a related party transactions they were doing. So
in borrowing from that experience that has just been described, what should a potential investor do going forward to ensure that they're limiting their exposure? Because it seems that both the SEC and the investor were blindsided by the outcome of that investment portfolio.
Well, I think that is where we've also come up with this early alert that when we are doing investigations, we also inform the public that investigations are ongoing. It doesn't mean that we are going to revoke a license. It doesn't mean that the firm cannot fix the issues, but that we are taking some regulatory actions, and that gives people sort of a warning. But then I think from a disclosure perspective, with Gold Coast, there was clearly a lack of disclosure. We had to institute certain actions against them even prior to the revocation. We asked for further clarification. We engaged them. We sought to address the issues. But they were reluctant to cooperate. And so that is why we've put in, if you don't have clear guidelines to say disclose A, B, and C, and the person doesn't disclose it, you cannot enforce something you don't require. You can say that, okay, act in good faith. But what does good faith mean? Right? And that is what we've also, that's why I spent some time on the conduct of business and the licensing requirements. And now we want to have adequate disclosures to investors. And then if they don't comply with that disclosure level, we can also take enforcement actions on the back of that.
Right.